Hey guys, me Saran back with another video. This video is going to be the highly requested promised video on Kendrick Lamar. I really dragged my feet on making this video. I do not want to make this video, but it's been so highly requested. People want to know what I think about his song and video, Humble or whatever. I hate making videos about Kendrick Lamar because I hate his fans. Like, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, like, stans are in, like, a contest on, like, who can have the worst stands, and it's just, like, neck and neck. Who will be the worst of all time stands? Drake stands are just, like, completely detached from reality. Like, the things they say, you're just like, oh, okay, you are out in outer space right now. But Kendrick Lamar stands are just obnoxious, horrible people, like, down to the core. They're just, like, bad people. So I already know, and they, like, search his name on the internet and want to, like, fight you over it. Like, so I already know it's going to be, like, problems in the comment section. So for anyone that does not follow this channel, Kendrick Lamar stands that search his name, know from jump, I moderate comments. I will delete your comment. I will block you. So there you go. A lot of people wanted to know what I thought about Kendrick's new song and his video. In particular, the part that's been getting all this, like, I don't want to say backlash exactly, but people have been having issues with some of the things that he said. There was a line about, being tired of Instagram filters and, wanting a natural girl with a Richard Pryor afro. And in the video, there was a girl shown, it was like a split screen with, like, the natural, quote unquote, natural side and, like, the made up side. And a lot of people had an issue with that. And people were like, well, what's the problem? Like, what's the problem with him saying, like, he wants a natural girl, whatever. People know how I feel about Kendrick Lamar. I've made, like, 3 or 4 videos about him now at this point. Those videos will be in the description box if you haven't seen them and you want to check them out. Basically, I feel like this is nothing new for Kendrick. This is par for the course for him. Kendrick Lamar clearly has an idea in his mind of what he wants his woman to look like, or what he thinks that women, should look like and behave like, and what he thinks black people should look like and behave like, especially what he thinks black women should look like and behave like. Kendrick Lamar just is very into respectability politics, which I've talked about before, and he has these ideas in his mind about how people should look and behave, and he wraps it up in this, like, pretend, like, pro-black, like, fake woke consciousness. On Twitter, I was calling it, like, pro-black light. It's, it's just this very, like, surface level, like, respectability politics, and he just wraps it up in this, like, fake consciousness, like, as if he's really giving you some knowledge, when really it's just, like, the same old, like, dry respectability politics. Women should look like this. Women should act like that. Black people should do this. Black people should do that. I think you should pull your pants up and respect yourselves if you don't want to get shot. I think you should stop wearing makeup. I think, all this policing other people and policing other people's faces and bodies and shit, which I just feel like you don't have the right to do. And, like, that's what fucking bugs me personally about this whole, like, humble shit. And what bugs me about Kendrick is, like, again, like, this nigga has a very clear idea of what being acceptable is, of what being natural is, of what is, again, just, like, what acceptable behavior is. And I don't know. And in the song and in the video, there's just this whole tone of, like, he's, like, a righteous person. You could tell he's, like, a very self-righteous person. Like, Kendrick thinks he's, like, up here and the rest of us are down here. Just like Kid Cudi said, like, please stop talking down, like you are God's gift to niggas everywhere, and you talking down on these other niggas that you are just like them. Like, that is exactly what Kendrick Lamar is and what he does. And it just, like, that's it. And he just, like, continues. He's been continuing for years now to, like, keep on with the respectability politics and, like, keep on with the policing of people's bodies and faces and behavior and womanism, feminism, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, is about choice. And it's just like, if a bitch wants to wear a full face of fucking makeup, that's womanism because it's her choice. If a bitch wants to wear no makeup as womanism, it's fine because it's her choice. Now we can discuss the reasonings behind these choices, you know, the impact and the influence of living in like a white supremacist society that pushes a Eurocentric standard of beauty, because that is 100% legit. We can talk about that, but Kendrick Lamar doesn't really talk about that stuff. He just does all this shaming of women that do wear makeup, of women that do wear weaves, of women that maybe have had their bodies enhanced, of people that behave in a way that he doesn't think is the proper or correct way, which is respectability politics, you know? And so he doesn't talk about that stuff because that would be too much like motherfucking right, you know? Like that would be too much sense, that would be too much nuance, that would be too much critical thinking. So instead he skates right over it, you know? Again, to give you this kind of like pro-black light, very easy, very simple, just this completely surface level conversation on these issues without really saying much of anything, right? And then he like self-proclaims it to be this like deep, amazing shit, and his stans and fans don't really think critically about what he's saying and doing at all. And then they're just bad people. So it's like you can't even talk about it without them fucking going off, you know, which is fucking annoying. You know, for example, like a comparison lyric. I feel like Go Call Becky with the Good Hair, right? That is a line that has more nuance about black women, about hair, about wearing weave, about going natural than anything Kendrick Lamar has put out in his entire career, right? Like the line Go Call Becky with the Good Hair is a very nuanced line that's loaded with a lot of symbolism about black women and white women, about hair, about going natural, about good hair, about weaves, like just that one line, right? Compared to like, oh, I want a natural girl with a Richard Pryor afro. And then in the video, the optics that you show are a girl that has loose curls, loose curly hair, not even a kinky, coarse afro, which is what Richard Pryor had, right? Like, even then, you're saying one thing, but the image that you're showing in your video still doesn't even match up with the words. Like, you're saying what seem like the right words, but like clearly even your idea of like a natural girl, like what does that even look like, right? When people were talking about his fiance, you talk all this stuff about women, but then let's like look at your fiance. Your fiance looks like a Kardashian. So what are you even talking about in this song? And then he'll come out with another song that says like, yeah, I know I'm a hypocrite. Like, no, you're not going to take that hipster racism defense, that tongue-in-cheek, I'm aware that I'm a hypocrite, so that makes it fine. Like, no, that's not how it works, right? Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You know, this dude talking about, let me see your Richard Pryor afro. Like, your wife don't got an afro. Like, you flash an image of a girl with loose curls that grow towards the ground instead of like coarse kinky hair that grows towards the sky. Like, what are you talking about, Kendrick? What are you talking about, Kendrick? And your awareness that you're a hypocrite doesn't make it better, Kendrick. And the shit that annoys me is that nobody has a gun to Kendrick Lamar's head forcing him to like put out this type of content, forcing him to like say these type of things. Like, I was perfectly fine with Kendrick Lamar making ratchet ass music, like, your bitch fixing her makeup in my rims, nigga. Like, you can give us that type of content and it's great and it's fun and the songs are good and the lyrical content is good. You chose, and I've said in other videos that I feel like Kendrick Lamar chose this pro-black light shit to make money and to get acclaim. But it's like, you chose to walk down this path, but you're not giving us anything real, anything concrete, anything nuanced, anything critical. It's just light and fluffy. It's like fluff. It's pro-black light. Like, it's pro-black light. It really is. It really is, you know? And he just has a track record, in my opinion, with this bullshit. Like, and y'all just boost this dumbass nigga and the stupid ass shit that he says like it's so radical. And it's just so exhausting for me. Because he's really not saying shit. Or again, like the shit that he's saying is like some respectability politics, like some bullshit. Like, whatever. Let's get into some tweets. I'm going to read you guys some tweets because I really went into it a little bit more on Twitter. And there's going to be links to all of these tweets and some articles and stuff in the description box. I said on Twitter, it's really not that hard to understand why women shouldn't wear makeup. It's just the flip side of the women should wear makeup coin. Both are policing women's faces and bodies, and a nigga ain't about to tell me if I should or should not wear makeup. The end, right? That's it. And saying, go natural, show me a richer prior afro while presenting the image of a lighter girl with loose curls is a trip, right? The pic shown while showing afro changes the critical nature of the work. He's still pushing the most acceptable idea of natural here, which is like a light-skinned girl with freckles. And this girl kind of looks like SZA. Is it? I don't think it is actually SZA, but she's like a SZA Tay Hecker kind of looking chick. Like, she's lighter skinned with freckles and this like big, loose, curly hair. It is not kinky, coarse afro. No. He's still pushing the most acceptable idea of natural here while saying all the right words, pro-black light. And Kendrick really has mastered that. Like, I will say he has really mastered that. Like, that is his lane of like saying certain things and then almost showing something else or doing something else to like associate the other stuff with the right words. And it's like, wait, what are you doing? You know, like you're making it's just, again, it's surface level. It's something easy to package. It's something easy to consume. It's revolution light, pro-black light, you know, easiest, simplest, smooth sailing, which is not the way this radical shit really works, you know. If you're going to talk this talk, you got to walk this walk, and he does not, which is exactly what I said about this fool 3 years ago. He likes to police black people and especially black women. Kendrick definitely does this weird thing of picking natural girls that still fit into a very narrow standard of beauty and then presenting them as some radical departure from that. Yet again, you picked a girl that has big, loose, I don't know about hair typing and stuff like that, but you picked a girl that has, you know, big, loose, curly hair. You didn't pick a girl that has an actual Richard Pryor afro, but you said the words Richard Pryor afro, but you showed this loose, curly hair. You're presenting this loose, curly hair as radical. It's on purpose. Like, I don't think it's an accident. Kendrick definitely does this weird thing of picking natural girls that still fit into a very narrow standard of beauty and then presenting them as some radical departure from that. And then I said, see also, Alicia Keys and the no makeup thing. If all black girls looked like Alicia Keys, nobody would be pushing them to wear weave and makeup. And man, that Alicia Keys mention turned into a whole thing. I had light-skinned defenders swooping into my mentions with the capes out, talking about why am I talking about Alicia Keys. My thing with Alicia Keys is really not Alicia Keys herself, even though I do think Alicia Keys is a bad person, just on a personal level for that whole whatever situation. And she's never going to get her karma right. Never. But it's not about Alicia Keys herself. It's about the response to the no makeup. Yeah, like, and women shouldn't wear makeup and stop wearing makeup and these fake assholes with the makeup. And it's like, y'all, like, no, like, y'all are shaming women that wear makeup. If a bitch wants to put makeup on her face, that's her business. It's her face. If Alicia Keys doesn't want to put makeup on, that's her business. It's her face. Neither one should be this huge deal. And if we're going to talk about why wearing makeup, again, is a huge deal, why straightening your hair and wearing weaves is a huge deal, you know, why this Eurocentric standard of beauty, why, you know, cultural appropriation, you know, slapping black girl features, ethnic features on a white girl, on a lighter skinned non-black person of color, you know, and calling them beautiful when they're ugly on a darker skinned black girl, and all these types of intersections. That is a different conversation than you shouldn't wear makeup, right? Like, it's surface level, it's skating over what the real problem is. And it's like Alicia Keys still fits into this very narrow Eurocentric idea of beauty. She is biracial, you know, she is light-skinned, she does have a narrow nose, she does have freckles, she does have this big, loose, curly hair. You already fit into this Eurocentric standard of beauty. And that's not to say that by not wearing makeup, people don't fucking still talk bad about her not wearing makeup, because I've seen plenty of people say Alicia Keys got a dusty, scratchy face, but it would be that much harder if she didn't already fit into that Eurocentric standard of beauty, if she wasn't already light-skinned with freckles and loose curly hair, if she was a darker-skinned girl with a wide nose and big lips and, you know, coarse hair, a real Richard Pryor afro, it would be 10 times worse because of colorism. And we're not about to argue about whether or not colorism does or doesn't exist, because it does exist. It's been proven. It's not my opinion. It's not something I just pulled out of my asshole and made up. Like, it is a real thing. And again, what we've been talking about so much, talking about different experiences within the diaspora, you know, the way that we are treated differently by systems of racism, sexism, etc., based on how we look and identify. And then, again, how the system treats us. Based on how Alicia Keys looks and identifies, the system is going to treat her differently than a Viola Davis, right? The system, when both of them have no makeup on, when both of them have their natural hair out, when both of them have their natural features out, the systems of racism and sexism and misogyny are going to look at these two black women and treat them differently. So no makeup for Alicia Keys does not mean the same thing as no makeup for Viola Davis. But again, these conversations have too much nuance for this surface level understanding that people want, you know, to put on them. And people just get so defensive talking about this kind of stuff because people don't want to talk about differences. They just want to, oh, you're being divisive. We're all the same. We're all black. I said, but we're all having different experiences. We can all be oppressed as black people and yet still be oppressed by the system in different ways based on how we look, based on how, you know, based on gender, based on all these different types of things. And that's fine. I feel like I keep saying that. Like, we're different and it's fine. And people just get so defensive talking about this type of stuff because nobody wants to feel like they have privilege. Nobody wants to feel like they're doing anything wrong. And people just don't want to think. People just do not want to think. And then, again, you have niggas like Kendrick Lamar that's very willing and able to serve you pro-black light where you don't have to think. Where you don't have to think. You know, where he can say the words Richard Pryor Afro, which translates into coarse and kinky hair, but that is not what is visually represented. Right? And then that changes the nature of the work, which I want to talk about too, because a lot of people are saying like, oh, you guys are like reading too much into it and you're getting too critical. And it's like, well, but again, no one is putting a gun to Kendrick's head telling him to put out this type of content. If you're going to dip a toe into this fucking pool, be prepared for people to fucking critique your work. You know, if you're going to start, if you're such a serious, radical, socio-political artist and you putting out this blackity black ass shit, be prepared for some critical review of your content. Or just talk about your bitch fixing her makeup and my lipstick. Oh, we bust shots. Like, just talk about that. Because that shit is fine too, you know? And it's just like, it's annoying. It's annoying, right? You show a girl with like loose curly hair while you say the words Richard Pryor Afro, but a black girl with an actual Richard Pryor Afro is going to be treated differently by the system than the girl that you featured with loose curls. They're both black, but they're different. They're both being oppressed, but they're different, right? Somebody tried to say that colorism is like light skin bashing. I was like, y'all are so extra and y'all just do the most. Oh, y'all talking about the girl that Kendrick cast in the video. Y'all are bashing her because she's light-skinned with loose curls. No, how? How, Sway? How did you get from point A to point B? Like, we're talking about real things that exist. We're talking about real systems that exist. Again, things that have been studied, things that are quantifiable, you know, things that there's academic literature on. Sociologists have like dedicated years to studying this type of stuff. You know, darker skinned people are treated worse systemically. It's been proven. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. You know, lighter skinned people are also oppressed under the system of racism, white supremacy. It's true. It's been proven. It's an opinion, you know, and it's just like, again, we're having these surface level conversations pro-black light because it's just easy to talk that way than to think. And I kind of am getting to the point where I just like despise what Kendrick like represents. Like, niggas just have the bare minimum understanding of like what it's like, especially to be like a black woman in this country and throughout the diaspora, you know, because colonization was worldwide. Niggas just have a bare minimum understanding about everything and are presenting these like half-baked ideas as some real radical shit. And then you have people that don't want to think, that are just like eating it up. And they're just like, yes, give me more, give me more, give me more. And at the end of the day, it's just like, you cannot police what anybody chooses to do with their face or their body. It's none of a nigga's business what a bitch decides to do with her face or with her body. Niggas out here talking about, well, that's just Kendrick's preference. Okay, we supposed to care? Don't nobody care about Kendrick Lamar's preference, especially when he'll say that this is his preference, but then like, let's all go look at his fiance. I don't know. I don't understand, you know? And that's just how I feel about it. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Again, this is pro-black light. It doesn't require any thought. I said something else about it on Twitter, but now I can't find the exact tweet. Like, I said something else about it, about like it's just like the easiest, most like simple understanding of a lot of these ideas without really talking about what really matters behind these ideas. And again, just the respectability politics, the policing of women, the policing of black people, the policing of what people choose to do with their faces and their bodies, and the shaming. There's just like an implicit shaming there, in my opinion, of like, I'm so sick of, like, oh, I'm so sick of da 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 da. It's like, okay, but like maybe she doesn't even have that full face of makeup on for a nigga. Maybe she has that shit on for herself because it makes her feel good. So why are you trying to shame her for wearing makeup? A girl that doesn't have makeup on, when I see girls getting into it on Twitter and they be like, oh, that's why your eyebrows, da 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 da. Well, maybe she likes her natural eyebrows. Why are you trying to shame her? Like, stop the shaming and the policing of people's faces and their bodies and what they want to do. It's just whack. Or if you're going to talk about that, you got to dig deeper into why people are even doing that type of stuff in the first place and like not be so surface level. But again, in the words of Kid Cudi, Kendrick Lamar thinks he's God's gift to niggas everywhere and that he has all the answers, Sway. So that's all I got to say about that. Read a request. There's going to be tons of Twitter links in the description box if y'all want to read like more on this, because we had like a whole big conversation about it, and also just a couple links on some good articles that I read recently about this. So read a request. That's how I feel about it. Yet again, if y'all start getting out of pocket in these comments, you will be outie 5,000. So food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.